That was a really great podcast. Stephen's such an interesting guy because he and his partner have managed to achieve so much in the time that they've had in so many different areas.
Yeah, I mean, they really are an example of what you can get with persistence.
They both started and played to their strengths. Stephen Kirkwood, who's the other half of Skapade, who wasn't able to join us, is an international DJ, and Stephen Galloni, who we had in just there, is a comedian who is just so personable and just got all the right skills to be able to build a business. And that's what they both used, both of their talents and both of their strengths to build something that's really pretty exciting.
I think it's quite necessary today as well in education. Like, how do you keep people interested in the skills they're going to need in any workplace, any business? So they've combined DJing, teaching people how to DJ, with the skills that you need to promote yourself, which is something that I think is lacking in general. Like, you need that if you go to a job interview, you need that if you run your own business, and you need to promote yourself. And it's something that we're definitely lacking in Scotland.
I think that if they continue to do what they're doing, I mean, they've already achieved great things, but I think it's only going to get better from here. It was a really interesting podcast, a really interesting conversation, and I'm sure anybody listening to it will get a lot from it if they just listen to what Stephen has to say and take a little bit of insight into how he views things and how he persists.
He's a super positive guy.
Yeah, it's a really good podcast. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, me too.
Hope you enjoy it. Stephen, hello.
How you doing?
Thank you for coming in. Second time. But a real pleasure as always to have you come join us.
Cheers, man.
I think the easiest place to start is at the beginning. If you don't mind just telling us a little bit about who you are, tell everyone who you are, what it is that you do, and a little bit of that journey.
Yeah, I hope you've got time. I'm Stephen Galloni. Most people call me Big Gal or Gal. And I am one of the kind of head guys at Skapade Studios, alongside my good man Stephen Kirkwood, who's the founder. My background is sort of comedy, drama stuff. You know, I used to do all sorts of stuff younger, and then I've done about 40 million jobs, all of which I hated. And I was quite good with people and stuff like that. And Stephen had kicked off the studio, and just I think me and him were good friends anyway, so we were making stupid videos and having a bit of fun together. And when he started realising he was getting clients and stuff, he was like, look man, do you want to leave your job and help me create what we've got now, which is nearly 5 years in the making, which is insane. And we were talking about earlier, just like, you know, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago we came on the podcast, you know, so much has changed and has grown since then, us as people especially. And it's just, it's been a crazy journey, you know. It's hard to really tell you from the start. It's just so much has happened.
So what is Skapade?
Skapade is a sort of a service where we help people. So on a private level, we help people come in and learn how to make music. So music production digitally through programs like Ableton. We teach people how to DJ or how to become an artist, if you like, in the industry, or how to get the ball rolling and sustain that. We also do a lot of community work, as I'm sure you guys know. So we do a lot of work in schools. We work with charities, and we are basically just helping young people to, again, learn about the creative industries, how to actually sustain potentially a career in it. But we do a lot of mindset stuff, social media, digital skills, things like that. So basically we're just trying to create courses that we wish we had in school.
Yeah.
I suppose that's the best way to look at it. When we wrote our first programme, which again was a weird feeling, and when we sold our first programme, we were like, no way,
somebody bought it.
This works. So yeah, again, it's to inspire people to try and, I suppose, reveal the potential without sounding kind of cheesy, you know. But it's like everybody's got something, but it's the story they're telling themselves that will either stop that thing from coming out, or not. So that's it in a sort of large nutshell.
That's a huge amount.
So much, you know, because we've got the podcast as well, like you guys, you know. And
what's the podcast called?
So just the Skapade Show, and it's written like Skapade. Everybody calls it Skapade, and again for us, lesson from Kanye West actually. As long as they're saying it, It doesn't really matter, you know, as long as they're commenting, good or bad. And then we do events, so we run the odd event as well. Yeah, techno nights and stuff like that.
Whereabouts do you do that?
All over really, mostly Glasgow. Then we DJ privately as well, so we're playing gigs, or I'll go along with Stephen who's playing festivals and gigs, and you know, just all sorts, man. It's like, it's very, very varied, you know, and it's keeps us going.
Tell us a little bit about the school programs, the things that you were saying about bringing courses in that you wish that you had in school. How does that work? What's involved in that? Well,
I mean, it could be anything. It could be from making a song with professional engineers from our team. It could be working on an event that they're planning in the school.
Yeah.
Or it could be, you know, working on the do's and don'ts of social media and researching stuff and researching music and telling us about labels, and of course learning how to DJ. So a very creative mixture of cool stuff. And again, the thing is, one way to look at it is DJing is like 1 or 2 hours of the week.
Yeah.
So if you're a DJ and you're getting gigs, you know, you're only doing 1 hour of the week. So what are you doing the rest of the week? Well, you're maintaining your profile, you're networking with other DJs or promoters trying to get gigs. You are sorting out your music, you're sorting out mixes that you might put out on SoundCloud or online, stuff like that. So it's like people think of a DJ and go, oh, that must just be so easy. But there's a lot of work that goes in the background as well. Never mind if you're actually playing gigs where you're travelling, you're waiting in airports. A lot of it's tedious as well. I seen a great comment this morning from a friend, Malorca Lee, who's old school legend in the scene. And he had basically wrote, you get paid to wait in airports and travel the gigs for free. I was like, that's so cool. That's like, that is a mentality I think people should have. So, that's it. And again, for young people that are learning, what we would have wanted is to just know a wee bit more about, like, how do you actually get involved? That's what we're trying to pass down.
So I'm a wee guy and I've just bought my first pair of decks, CDJs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my setup. I know exactly the set I want to play. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, Skapade, you've got to show me the magic. I need to know how to get into my first club, or whatever the goal is.
Yeah.
What is that process? Because it's something that I think everyone in Glasgow that's got friends that are into any sort of dance music, at some point somebody's been a DJ, and they've maybe petered out when they've thought, this isn't a realistic goal.
Yeah.
So as a younger person, maybe someone at the school level that's doing that, what are the first steps?
Well, I'd say from a harsh standpoint, it would be it's like I met someone recently and they'd done a college course on drama and stuff like a year ago, and I'd not seen them for a while, and I was like, you know, what's been the outcome of that course? He was like, oh, well, there was no jobs or that. And I'm like, and what I wanted to say was, but the school course or whatever is there to equip you with the tools to understand how some of it works, but it's on you to be chapping doors.
Yep.
And actually be sending out emails. And like, how many emails have you sent out to TV companies or studios? None. Well, just because you went and studied doesn't mean you're going to get anything. You actually have to put a lot of work in behind it. So the first thing is you know, believing in yourself. But once you have the tools, if you're able to mix, is learn a little bit about the scene. Go to the clubs and the nights that you want to actually play at. Go and network with these guys. Go and offer your skills for free. Now, that's, some people might be like, oh man, that's devaluing, but it's like, when you're just starting out, man. So
get your foot in the door.
Get your foot in the door. Funnily enough, this is the exact advice we just done for a video for BBC The Social.
Boom! So we're getting it for free.
So
yes.
So the video's there online, and that's exactly what we've done. Stephen's giving great DJ advice, and I'm doing like ridiculous comedy cutaways while he's talking, and I even got a McGregor impression in there as well, so it was good. But in terms of like just any wee guy or girl who's looking to get into it, it's like, learn the skill well, know your music. That's definitely another thing as well, and like, you know a good warm up set. You know, if you're getting asked to warm up, don't go in there and play all the bangers that the headline's going to play or whatever, you know, and I've seen it, you see that. So it's really just, you know, chap doors, send out emails, network with people online, try and stand out from everyone else, because everyone wants to be something, but it's like, what work are you putting in to get there? So when your friends are watching Netflix or gaming, you know, play 1 or 2 hours less than you normally would and put a few hours into actually something else. So it's like, it's just, you've got to work, man. and knock doors, mate. That's really...
It's funny how persistent a theme that is, that you got to put in the work and you've got to be resilient, because it's not going to happen overnight.
Never, you know. For some people it might, but even then, we all know here, like an overnight success is 10 years in the making, you know.
Yeah.
It's funny how different the... every single time somebody says that when it comes to... Because you always see online people that are doing talks to students or doing talks in general, and they're talking about... starting your own business or becoming your own personal success, and they say you need to work hard. And it's funny how that's a revelation for a lot of people, but
totally,
you would have to still work really hard even if you were doing a job. Like, everybody knows that if you go to uni, get a job, and you go and work for a company, you're going to have to work hard to do well in that company.
Yeah.
So it's exactly the same principle as when you have
it totally
your own
is.
career. You just need to be self-driven.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's somehow wading through procrastination.
Yeah.
And we all have that procrastination demon in us, you know. It's like we all have it. But it's like, a way to mitigate that is surrounding yourself with other people who are pretty driven as well, who may procrastinate, but they're a little bit more proactive. That's a massive part, is having people pulling you up, as opposed to like, oh guys, you want to hear this new song I wrote? Shut up, no bother, you're Ed Sheeran. You know what I mean? It's like, but that's a very Scottish mentality, to just like rip into people. And it's kind of like, well, you know, I'm actually trying to do something here. It's cool to slag, but at the same time, can any encouragement come out of this? And if there's no...
a dick.
Aye, well, totally, it totally is. It's usually a reflection of the other person, though.
Yeah, I tend to find people that are like that don't have very much going on.
No, they're just holding a mirror up. That's all they're doing, you know?
Yeah. It's a shame, because the idea that somebody's life would be altered by some arsehole who is just the negative. It's negative.
It's such a shame to see it as well. Like people that we know in our industry that get into being creative, and I think because you're the talent sometimes, your ego gets wrapped up in what people think about it, which is unavoidable. Everybody thinks that. But it's like, if you get a negative comment, that doesn't have to be the end. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of sad to see.
I think what I'm finding out at my ripe age of 29 now is everyone is just battling their own internal dialogue. Every single day you go out, you look at people's faces, man, and there's like craziness going on behind those eyes, man, you know. And the thing is, especially if someone's like doing something they don't really want to do, and they know deep down they don't really want to do it, that's the hardest thing, because it takes a lot of balls to like leave your job, and some people aren't in that position, if you like, you know. They've got the mortgage now, they've got the wife, they've got the kids or whatever, and it's kind of like, I'm kind of painted into a corner. But there are always ways out, and I think people look at every single day so seriously, and it's kind of like, look, man, you know, stop worrying so much about the future, because it doesn't exist yet. It's not there. It doesn't mean you shouldn't think about it, but it's like people stress every day, like, oh, I'm not this thing I think I should be. Yeah. It's like, man, chill out. Yeah. Nobody's dead, man. You're all right. You're doing all right.
Not in jail, you're not.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And even if you were, it's not the end, right?
It's not the end. People have really turned it around since being in jail and things like that, but it's so easy to just lose yourself and your thoughts in the moment and be like, oh my God, this is me for the rest of my life. And it's like, it's actually not.
I'm doing my very best at the moment to listen to people who are older than me. Like, that's something that not that I didn't do, but see people that are directly around me, family and friends, like when they say to me, you're getting too wound up about this. It's not important. Just enjoy it. Yeah. Because I've gotten to that age, which is not that old, where I'm looking at young guys and girls who are like in their scene, you know, like they're dressed the way that I would have dressed when I was younger, but more relevant to now. And I'm thinking to myself, the fuck are they doing? And I'm starting to feel like an old man. And say the things that I know that, you know, they're getting all wound up about shit. I've got little cousins and friends who are like, who are younger than me, and they get wound up about things that I know that when I got wound up about them when I was younger, I thought it was the be all and end all. And I wish that, I know that people said to me back then, don't get so wound up about this, but I just didn't listen to them.
But that's life, that's learning, man. And the thing is, it's about not beating yourself up. It's now about actually applying that mind process and that thought process, like, because I put a post up last night that done quite well, and it was quite funny. It must have resonated pretty well with people, and it was like, I'm sick of people in their 30s, 40s and 50s like that. I'm old. Oh, that's me, I'm old. Like, do you know when you're 70, 80, 90, if we make it that far, you'll be like that, Christ, I was so young at 30. No, I was so young at 40. But it's like people are old because they keep telling themselves they're old, so they are old. Yep. So it's like, oh, I'm 40, I couldn't go a night out now, you know, that's like this and that. Like, why? Well, the only reason that is happening is because that's what you keep saying. So it's like I stay young forever trips, man. Do you know what I mean? And it's like it's a mindset, and it's a way of acting. I think it's not about your age. So I know people that are 17 that are already 70. You know what I mean? And I know people that are 70 that are, you know, they're still when they were young. So it's all a mindset, and I think society's pressures and where you should be at a certain age or whatnot. It's like, oh, you're not married with kids and this and that, like, and. You know, it's like, this is my journey, this is yours. But the thing is, even the way your mindset, what you're talking about, like you wish you'd maybe thought a wee bit more like this, or you're trying harder, that's just all down to what goes on in your life. Like if you go through a lot of shit or different types of shit, it makes you a lot more resilient on other things. So there's maybe certain things you've maybe not went through that hasn't taught you that lesson, and there's other things you have.
100%,
you know what I mean? And it's like I've been, unfortunately, like experienced a lot of death in my family and friends and, you know, stuff growing up that I'm just so, I'm like horizontal, man. I'm so laid back, like to my detriment sometimes, you know what I mean? But I'm just like, do you know what? You're alive, I'm alive. You know, let's just keep going.
Like I think everyone has those thoughts, you know, like, oh, I wish I had just relaxed.
Yeah.
But when you're thinking about that in the present, or even worrying, as you were saying, worrying about the future, you're just not appreciating right now.
Nah.
As well. And like maybe you're not, like let's say you're an up and coming DJ and you're not where you want to be, and that bothers you. What you should be working on is right now. Like what are you doing right now? And then in 10 years you'll be like, man, see all that work I did every day?
Yeah.
It's paying off.
The thing is, as well, though, it's like the real epidemic we have at the moment, obviously, as we see, like mental health and all that is through the roof, right? And we look at like maybe 13, 14 years ago when social media really started to boom, like there is a correlation. And a massive part of what's going on with people just now is they're comparing themselves to everyone else. And it's like, why are you comparing yourself to me who's in a completely different stage of the journey than you are?
Yeah.
You know, or like, be like, oh, why is he getting all the gigs, this and that? It's like, well, that guy's maybe 4 years ahead of you. You know, who's been at this much longer, or, you know, so it's like, put the phone down, focus on your own stuff, focus on the content, you know, and just keep going, man. And the thing is, if it was easy, we'd all be out there DJing and making millions and all that, you know what I mean? It's not meant to be easy, it's meant to be hard, and a very small percentage actually ever make it. But again, tell me the definition of make it.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's all in your head.
The social thing's such a difficult question, because I've wanted to walk away from social media so many times thinking that this is just shit. I don't like it. But then at the same time, in what we do,
we need it.
And I can't walk away from it. Every time I try to walk away from it, it pulls me back.
It's like that Godfather, isn't it?
I feel like social media, because I'm exactly the same. I tried to delete Facebook from my phone, and for whatever reason, it didn't delete. So I was like,
no, it won't. It doesn't. You can't actually fully delete your account anymore. It's like you can hide it. You can't delete it.
So I was like, you know what? Maybe if I'm seeing shit, it's because that's what I'm looking for, or like I'm self-consciously going, I'm not enjoying this. What if we could actually just use it and try to find the positive in it? Because I feel like that's the exact same as anything else. Social media is just an amplification of everybody's best bits, right, or worst bits.
Absolutely.
So you can go find what you want to find on any platform, or even just in general, cutting about. You know, like
absolutely.
As you were saying, man, you see in some people's faces they're just pure stressed out, not taking in it's a beautiful day and that they're alive and that they've got both their legs and they're not.
Because they're already gave up. They're raging. You know what I mean? And they want to be raging, and it's like they don't want to help themselves. You know. And to be honest, I've been in that boat. I have been in that boat, like proper depressed and hating what I'm doing. And again, seeping into the mindset of, my God, this is me working in this bar or whatever, and this is going to be my whole life. I've got more to bring to the table, but this is me. And it's like absolute nonsense. You know, I'm like 22 at the time, telling myself that shit, and it's like, no, that's now.
It's all just shit. I know that, because that's the thing. I think we all have been there.
All of us.
There, and I think about some of the conversations I had in my head when I was in my early 20s, and I'm looking at that now thinking, what the fuck were you talking about? Yeah.
That's growth, though. That's growth, and I love that. You know, it's to see the destination. I feel we're all going to get there, like, because we're in this space, right? And it's like, this is all the tough part, this part of the journey where we're at, the building, the trying to put the food on the table, the operating multiple things. And it's like, I feel the destination, I'm going to arrive there, but it's like, I want to enjoy the whole journey and the process of getting there, because see, when you're there, then what? It's like, oh, I've done it.
We talk about this all the time, but we had like milestones that we wanted to reach in our business, and when we got there, it's like, oh well, now this is normal.
Now we need another milestone.
Now you need another. So it's like maybe you need to carry yourself in a certain way every day that makes what you're doing enjoyable, because it's going to come. It does come if you stay determined and you do the right things day to day.
Absolutely.
Over time, the opportunities present themselves.
This is it, but it is all mindset, and I know that again. It's like it's just not easy to hear when your mindset's really dark or it's not in a good place. It's kind of like, you know, get off your high horse. Exactly. It's like, I am going to think my way into a good place. But one thing, you know, actually Stephen had showed me back when we were like reading the law of attraction and all that sort of stuff, and it was like we were watching something and the sentence came up on the board and it said, "You are what you think you are." That changed my life. That one sentence changed my life, because I was like, oh no, I know what I've done wrong for years. I've been telling myself the wrong story. I'm pure beating myself up, my self-image, my, you know, whatever it is. Like, you know, I'm like constantly going, I'm overweight and all that, when like, really I'm not. But it's like, you know, these kind of things, or like, oh, I'm not going to achieve it. Do you know what? You're probably never going to be a comedian and all that. Just give up, really. And it's like, that's what was going on in my head. That's what's going on in most people's heads, I think. And it was like, when I realised, I was like, oh, actually, I am in control of that. Why not? Let's just try and feed myself some good thoughts about myself. And well, I mean, my life's totally turned around, so it's obviously done something, but we're always still battling that wee voice. It's like, everybody's going to find you out, you're kidding yourself on, you know what I mean? But it's just, I think we're all in this rock in the middle, spinning in space. Nobody's got a clue what's going on. Don't let anybody fool you, man. We are all no idea why the fuck we're on this planet, man.
No.
And we're just all thrusted onto it. So don't let anybody tell you because they're wearing a suit or whatever that they know what they're doing. They're just as mental as you know what I mean? So that's what keeps me saying, like, we're all mental.
Well, the mental thing is, we're on this spinning rock with no goddamn idea, and we're walking about in suits.
Yeah.
With wee briefcases, like, I understand. I know what's going on.
Exactly. But they don't.
Shut the fuck up. You have no idea.
Exactly. But that's the beauty of it. And I think, though, once you really realise that, you can have a lot more fun in life. And go, oh, Christ, we're all just mad wanderers here that are all just trying to have a good experience. Well, some of us are. Obviously, there are some bad people out there, but, you know, that always comes with the territory, innit?
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
It is. I think there's a little bit of, I've been trying to ask myself that, if it's just, you know, it's not, I don't believe it's a Scottish thing, because everywhere in the world you have a little bit of negativity.
Yeah.
But I've been trying really hard to not answer people with negatives. You know, like when you meet somebody in the street, like, how's it going? Not bad.
I'm fantastic.
Yeah, and just like, everything's great.
Yeah,
all good.
Yeah, I've done that for a while, definitely.
Is that because that's a really hard thing to overcome, especially like when it's hot. That's the one that I really struggle with. Is like, I could complain all year about how shitty the weather is, and then it gets really sunny and hot, and people are like, "Oh, how's it going?" I'm like, "Fuck, it's too hot. When's this going to end?" Fucking the sun, man.
No, give us more, please. Give us more.
5 days of this. No, the office is not. It's too hot, and there's not enough fans. Shut up, man.
Your first world problem, innit?
No, I know. It's not a problem. It's just you're trying to find something that I don't think anybody wants to come across. It feels everybody doesn't want to come across as if they're doing too well.
Well, a good friend of mine told me something once, and he said, people like when you're doing good, but not better than them.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, man. That's some knowledge right there, know what I mean? It's like that's true. It's like, you know, but at the same time, it's a massive reflection of someone else. If you go, I am great, how are you? And if they're going to be jealous or angry, then it's like, man, sever that person and surround yourself with better people, man.
I mean, if it's someone you care about and they're doing good things or things are happening for them, you should be happy.
You should be.
That should lift you.
But the humans are just mad, mate, you know.
We're just jealous.
But it's about being self-aware. I think that's the most important thing I've learned over the last few years, is really trying to be self-aware, assess every situation that I'm in. Sometimes, again, to my detriment, where I'm like, I can't let go. I'm that overseeing everything. And it's like, but I think being self-aware to just realise, like, even if we do have some altercation or like there's some sort of jealousy, like I'm not a jealous person, so it doesn't really happen to me, right? But if it was, it's like, I think I would really still pull myself out and go, why are you saying that? Like, there's a reason why you're getting annoyed at him doing that. Some people are maybe a little bit prickish in how they get ahead and step on people and stuff. So then you could be like, you know, maybe envious or annoyed and be like, you know, they shouldn't be where they're at. It's only because of so-and-so. But again, you're still just focusing on someone else, and you need to focus on your own stuff. And big thing for me is, if you can't love yourself, why would someone else? You know what I mean? So it starts with you and then take it out there.
Was it Nana said a number of years ago, you're the I can't remember where it is. You told me where it was that you got it from, but you're the 5 people that you're around the most.
Yeah, you're the product of the 5 people you spend your most time with. And that's something I do with a lot of young people on the courses. I'll say, look, you don't need to tell me, but I want you to have a wee think for a minute. Who are the 5 people you spend your most time with, and are they positive or negative? And just have a wee think to yourself, you know. And 9 times out of 10, it'll be like 4 negatives, 1 positive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, look, man, you know, it's the thing is, when you're young, you're in a cauldron of people, you know 2,000 people because you're all in school together.
Yeah.
And it's like, it goes for this, these will always be my friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you turn 25 and it's like there's still 2 of them.
Yeah.
If, you know, there's 1 of them and you've got all new friends. And it's like, so like, again, it's like not to worry too much, especially at a school age and stuff, because it'll change. And if you're with people you don't like now, don't worry, it'll see itself out, you know what I mean?
It's a tough thing being young.
Especially now.
It is a tough thing. I wouldn't want to grow up now. I wouldn't. I think that the whole social aspect, like that was kind of starting when I was in high school with MySpace and being on MSN
Bebo.
Messenger.
People all
MSN,
day, man.
Bebo fucking can go. Fuck off. It was MySpace.
No, I love people. Oh.
But it was the
I never
start.
got
It was the
people-
start of this whole new wave of Facebook and all that. You know, I mean, they're looking at these companies and taking the models and making it better. And now 2 billion people actively use it and share where they're at. And now Google and all these other companies have every single piece of data on every single one of us. Like they know more about us than we do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only maybe pictures from 10 years ago when I was 20. But imagine they had pictures of when you were 15. And the way you were cutting about with some of the dodgy gear as well.
Thing is, though, if there was no cameras about now, those 15-year-olds would be doing the same things. It's just because if we had the cameras, we would have been like a little less. You know what I mean?
No, I think a lot of younger people are a little bit more reserved.
That's
than
what.
we
No,
would have
that's no. But that's what I mean. If we had the cameras away, we'd have probably been reserved because of that. And it's crazy, man. Now everywhere you go, cameras in your face, or you know, I do. I mean, I update my stories every day, and you know, sometimes even I'm like, what is the point in this? You know what I mean? But then somebody will message me and go, "Oh, mate, you've just pure made me laugh there," and I'll be like, "Well, that's why I do it." You know what I mean? That's why I do it.
I think that would be more having a living memory of what it was that I did when I was 15 is probably problematic. I'd prefer if that wasn't the case. I'm glad that it's not the case. But I think it'd be more like if I was younger and you had to observe what everybody else was doing all the time. Like having
It'd have
access
been tough,
to
man.
that.
It would be
I think
horrible.
that'd be really tough on your self-image, your self-worth,
Absolutely.
what you perceive.
You try to figure that out, and
Yeah.
you're just being showed other people's highlights.
We speak about this all the time. We've spoken about every single podcast we come on. We end up having a conversation about people on Instagram and that kind of like fake perception of their life. But there's like 16-year-olds out there, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds who, you know, like they're living life that looks perceived just on a beach constantly. Mm-hmm. And when you're that young and you don't know that that's just horseshit, it must be really hard to see that.
Here's a cool one. I met a guy over in Italy when I was there, and he does a lot of social media stuff, and he worked for a headphones company, right? And he was from Glasgow, and he basically told me that there was this influencer man, right?
Yeah.
And this guy was like, you know, check my Lambo, and you know, check here, look at
There's
this
guys
hotel.
like that in
I'm like, right?
Glasgow?
Yeah, no, but it was just like I think it was like a guy in England or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But it was just like an influencer online who liked his music. So basically, he was like, I'm going to get in touch with this guy and send him some headphones to get some, you know, influencer marketing, branding, and you know, sharing each other's stuff. Great idea, right? Cool. So anyway, he's messaging the guy and he's like, look, mate, I want to send you these free headphones, like 200 quid. If you could just, tag us in your post and stuff. Anyway, the guy was like, been really vague about like where he was. And he was like, look, man, so like a couple of weeks went by and he's like, look, mate, I really just want to send you this. Can you just give me an address? And he was like, look, man, I'm not going to lie. I don't have an address. I'm sleeping in my car. I just go to these hotels and that to take pictures, but I'm not actually staying in it. And I'm sleeping out in my car at the moment. And he's like what? So this guy is going about posing in front of a Lambo and all that shit, and none of it's his, man. And then these kids that are watching it are like, oh, I want to do that life. I want to do that. What life is it you're talking about? Sleeping in your car, wee man? Like,
Man, that must be hard for that guy to look himself in the mirror.
it must be, but see, at the same time,
He
I
doesn't have a
guarantee,
mirror.
I bet it's well, he does. He's got a wee mirror in the car. He's got a wee sun mirror.
He's like, oh,
He's like, I can't get my whole body in right. But like, I think though, you know, fair play to the guy if it ends up working out for him. and he ends up actually getting that stuff, and it's like he's actually grinded to that point, but he's living a total facade to get there. And this is the world we live in, man. And it's like kids are now wanting to be famous for actually no reason. Like, why would they be famous for what?
Yeah.
Well, you know, like posting pictures and that. Like, but what value are you bringing to the world? Who are you?
Yep.
Who are you influencing? Like, because that's not influencing anything other than you're a wee hot bird that's doing some marketing for a clothing shop or that, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there really is. But again, it's like, there are people that have put themselves in that position, rightly so, but I think it does leave a bad message to ones that, you know, if they're sleeping in their car and stuff, then they're portraying this lifestyle. It's like ultimate fakery,
Well,
isn't it?
it's just not authentic. I think the best people on Instagram are people that are positive, but it's authentic, and you know, like they might post something that's not quite as glamorous, but you know that that's real.
It's them.
And yeah, it must be tough being young, because you would fall for that. You would fall for
it.
Oh man, that guy's got this and that.
That's so easy.
Yeah.
That looks so easy.
Man, why can't I have that? Man, I don't have that. Fuck, I'm just sitting here playing the PlayStation. That's shite. Or whatever.
Yeah, thing is though, you can turn all that into a job now. You know, you can actually do that. And then the thing is, if you are really proper smoking, good-looking guy or bird or whatever, then, you know, go and use those looks to go and earn your money and get your posts out there and stuff. It's like, this is the world we live in, but the buck starts with you. You know, it's like you have to actually actively put the work in and learn about these things. Yeah. As opposed to just putting up a picture that's all blurry and messy bed in the background, no hashtags, you know, or whatever. It's like, look, it's up to you to learn and go and learn from these other people doing it. But
I mean, that's the thing. It's like people are aiming. That's the problem with all these things, is people are aiming at the outcome, not what they're doing to get there.
The hard work.
Yeah,
the journey.
So they're like, I want a Lambo and I want to live next to the beach. Okay, but
sounds great.
That's good. That's an absolutely. I
want to do that.
That's an absolutely fine goal. Yeah, go for it. But how are you going to get there? You're going to get there by taking pictures of yourself in a Lambo at the beach.
Well, do you know what? Some people must be. Some people are.
There are, of course, people out there that do that, but
it's just a strange terrain.
That must be a horrible life. Like, not. I think it must be just so difficult to try and pretend every day that you're something that you're not.
Oh, you mean on the way up? I was like, what? Be to the beach for Lambo?
No, but what you're saying is like they can't look at, how can they look at themselves in the mirror? I think it is exactly that. It's like, how do you? But some people have just got a really brass neck, mate. Some people don't care.
Some people are just sociopaths.
They don't care, man. They're like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And
fair enough, man.
And that is fair enough, cool.
There's also a part of it where it's like, you know, I've not mocked these people, but I judge it because I don't understand it. But there's also the question of, why does it really matter anyway? You know,
it doesn't matter. Well, they don't care.
On this spinning rock in the middle of the universe, wearing suits and pretending we know what's going on.
Mate, they don't care about our opinion. If they're doing something.
There's a part of me that looks at them and thinks, are they just living pure experience? Like, are they just? Is that what it looks like when you just go, fuck all this? I'm just gonna, you know, you see these young guys that just like fly over to Bali and they just work in a bar and they just live their life doing that, or they go and, you know, these. I remember I went to school with guys that just went and lived on a ski resort. You know, they just went to the Alps and just like worked in a ski resort for. Yeah, that was it. You know, they just keep going to different countries. Yeah, teaching snowboarding. Yeah, 'cause they fucking love snowboarding.
It's good on them. Yeah, good on them, man.
Fair enough.
And they have some pretty sweet Instagram pics.
Yeah, of course they do.
They don't have a Lambo.
But they've got a snowboard in nature, know what I mean? That's even better than a Lambo, man. Life. You know what I mean? That's it.
So, sorry, I want to go back to the Skapade stuff and what it is that you're doing there, because I think one of the things that's really interesting is that it's obviously a great thing for your business that you're able to go into these schools and these and teach these kids these sorts of skills. Yeah, that help them both creatively and in terms of their own, you know, self-worth and how they perceive themselves. That's really important. Yeah. But is there not something to be said of why is that not just something that we're doing in schools?
That honestly, mate, that's a Friday night podcast. That question, man, that's down the rabbit hole, and we need about 3 hours to talk about that, and a projector to bring stuff up. But I think the whole of the system as a whole, I could go, but I'm not going to go too deep with it. But really, I do believe there's certain agendas, and you know, it's like, let them know how to operate the machine, but not how the machine works. So that's very much how it is. One example outside of education, when it comes to health, I went to the doctors ages ago, which again, I think everybody should regularly go to the doctors. I don't do it. It's like we all put it off, we're scared or something, right? But anyway, I haven't went for a few years. And the last time I was in, I was speaking to my kind of old child doctor, and I was saying, look, I've got a question for you. And I was like, how much of the training you do to become a doctor, like, do you cover diet? And she was like, well, you train for 7 years in uni, right? 7-8 years to get your whatever it is. And then she was like, probably about 1% or less was on diet. And I'm like, you know, that way, I'm like, well, not her specifically, but I'm like, you know, how can these people sleep at night? Because it's like, you're coming in and going, oh, I've got these ailments. 9 times out of 10 can be fixed through diet and exercise, right? But people are going, no, here's a tablet. Because people don't want to put the work in. So it's exactly what you're talking about earlier. They want the Lamborghini, they want the outcome. They don't want to have to do 10 years of hard, solid graft 7 days a week. Yeah. Right? Because they're like, oh no, that's far too much. That's too big of a mountain. Can I not just be famous? So it's the same as health. It's like people want a tablet to cover the health. Now, I'm not. People need medicines as well, 100%. Yeah. But the pharmaceutical industry is very, very sneaky. And basically they're just putting band-aids over people's cuts as opposed to going to the source of what's wrong with them. So I'm not saying diet's going to change everything, but I tell you one thing, it would help. So, and the education system's the same. It's like we're learning a whole bunch of stuff we don't really need, but a lot of it is great. But it's down to the individual to actually then take those tools and make something of it, as opposed to, oh, I've learned everything in school, I was top of the class, why is nothing happening for me? It's like, because it doesn't just, end. Once school's done, that's it done. It's up to you.
It's a wild thing, school. Like it's something I think about constantly. It's like we have this opportunity. It's like the only part of our lives that you need to do, right? Like high school and primary school up to 16. That's the only part of your life where you've got a bunch of people locked in a classroom from 9 o'clock till 3 o'clock where they need to be there. Legally, they need to be there. You can't. I mean, there's obviously homeschool options. There's some kids that slip through the net, all that sort of thing. But 98% of the population are locked in a classroom between the ages of 5 and 16, and we fuck it up.
And we're judged on the exact same ways of, like, testing.
Yeah.
We've all got to do the same thing, and it's back to Einstein. It's like you can't judge a fish's ability to climb a tree, So it's like if we're all given all the, you're stupid because you don't know how to do that. Well, see that wee stupid guy, he probably can go and play amazing on the piano, or he could build you a fireplace, or he could, but it's like when it comes to him doing that maths equation, he's not very good at it. But so how does that make that person stupid? Do you know what I mean? That's why it's like the whole sort of way it is and what we actually learn. I think it is changing. It's changing a little bit, but it's probably a bigger agenda really in the end of the day, and it's pretty much worked. You know what I mean? It's pretty much worked up until now, so I guess it's why it's not rapidly changing, because it's like it's been working to a point.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it in theory. There's nothing wrong with it in theory, but I think what it's doing is it's producing people that don't
ask questions, mate.
Yeah, they don't.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they want you to know how to operate the machine, but they don't really want you to ask why the machine exists.
Yeah, why are we doing it this way? Why do we?
It's like, no, just do it.
I think it produces a mindset of if someone's not holding my hand, I can't go figure that out.
Exactly.
Which is the wrong way to think about it. If you want to do anything, you need to, because in schools they've got, I don't want to rally on schools, a lot of friends that are teachers, but the school cares about their results and who gets into university, especially in the well-to-do areas that I came in, box ticking. So it's like, you might be able to pass it at this level, but just to play it safe, we're going to put you in a lower level so that it looks good for us. Not really caring about what happens to you after you leave school. Because I went all the way through high school not knowing that you could do your highers or intermediates in college. That just never was an option. It was like, you get the grades now, you go to uni. If you don't, you're going to get a job and you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not the message you want to be telling a young person. It's like, if you're interested in something, go figure it out. Go figure out if that's what you want to do. If not, fine, it's cool. You can do something else. Yeah. Go figure that out if you want to do that. It's like, you can study at any point. Doesn't need to be straight after school or in school.
Study now. I had no idea that you could study outside of school. Like, you could do your hires.
That's mad. I mean, I knew you could. I definitely knew you could, but I just didn't want to.
No, as soon as I found it out, I left school. Like, genuinely.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of 5th year doing my hires, and I found out that I didn't need to do it here because I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
I hated high school. I just hated the whole experience. No, that's not true. There was bits I enjoyed, but in general, I wasn't enjoying going in anymore. So as soon as I found out that I could do it outside, I was just like, Okay.
Let's do that.
Just went and got a job, worked for a couple of months, and then went back to college and did my hires.
Yeah.
Because it made sense. And I think that was the best decision I ever made. But it's like we don't want to tell people that you can do that.
You're not giving people the choice. I think that's the problem. It's like you're being forced to do something that you don't really want to do. Like to do what we've done now, we had to study things that we weren't particularly interested in, maths, whatever. Yeah. But I knew what the outcome was, that I chose that outcome. So I was like, right, these things I don't want to do, I need them to do what I want to do.
Yeah. But I think it's just important to realise it really isn't the be-all and end-all, though, having that bit of paper. Absolutely, is it great to go and get educated? 100%. And if you've got the opportunity and the willpower to do it, go and do it.
Yeah.
But like me, I done 4 different college courses, 2 of which I dropped out of. Didn't do particularly well in school. Was always pretty sound in school and a positive guy, but I just never applied myself because I just was bored with the work and I learned differently. And now I'm sometimes through Skapade and what we're doing with the studio, doing talks in schools, doing talks in universities. I mean, we were doing talks in Glasgow University. They're now talking about giving us 6 students to work on a programme for us, stuff like that. And I'm like, man, I've only ever watched other people graduate. And I'm in here doing a talk. Like, are you sure? Me? Are you sure? So it's like, it's how you apply yourself. And crazy stuff's been opened up to us now through the studio and the hard work we've been putting in. And both me and Stephen never went to university, you know what I mean? And, universities are coming to us now. So it's like...
But that's the thing of it, is that you're trying to be taught things that you don't have any interest in. And see that thing, like, you don't always have to be interested in something that you learn. There's an element of truth to that. Like, I think that everyone should have basic maths and English because... you kind of need those.
And it's problem solving and stuff like that.
But everybody knows that feeling when you're doing something that you like. And you get into it, you realise, I'm getting this. I'm getting how this works.
Yeah.
And you start to kind of put the pieces together and you get excited by the outcome while you're doing it, but you're still enjoying doing it.
Yeah.
I think most people go through their school life not knowing what that feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know that they can actually enjoy. Education is this thing that's like you're sitting down with a piece of paper and a pen and it's boring and you're sitting with it in a room that's not engaging you. But there's not that. It's bettering yourself. It's furthering your knowledge or something, whatever that is.
I honestly believe it's because they don't know why you're doing it. See, when you don't know why you're doing something like maths, who the fuck knew why they were doing algebra? Nobody ever never related that to real world. Like, how does that apply? Mm-hmm. And then it's only if you get, when you're a little bit older or whatever, and if you figure out a practical use for these things, like beat matching if you're a DJ. It's like, oh wait, counting bars. Oh, actually that relates to scales. Oh wait, that's actually a maths principle. Like, imagine they told you that. Like, you could work that out.
Yeah.
But
but that would make it probably more enjoyable for some. But the thing is, though, again, algebra, it's not something you particularly use. But I guess the argument from an education standpoint is it's like, well, it teaches problem solving. But it's like, well, but so would teaching us about how to use a bank or how to save properly or how to think better about myself or how to actually write my goals down and break them down. Like stuff like that. Focus on my own mindset, loving one another, being friendly. We're becoming so selfish as a society and so like our own stuff. It's like other cultures look at us and must laugh, man, and go, man, look at it. They've lost it on the West, man. They've lost it.
They've got everything and they're all miserable.
But because this isn't everything, you know what I mean? Gadgets and toys and stuff you're trying to fill a void in here by buying stuff. It's not going to work, man. Some of the richest people in the biggest house are some of the saddest people. Some of the people with nothing are walking about with the biggest smiles, you know what I mean? Because it's all a mindset.
Except that guy with the Lambo on the beach.
Except that guy.
Taking pictures, man. He's fucking loving it.
Who knows what's going on in his head, man? He's crying in a puddle now, man.
You'd mentioned working with the BBC.
Yes.
Is that something that's come about recently? What's going on there?
Man, this is a dream come true for me, and I know for Stephen as well. Like, just from doing comedy and videos and sort of putting that feeler out there, like, imagine and working, and now those 3 letters are like associated to what we do. I mean, it just happened naturally. I got a wee message through my Instagram stories, again, another important reason for just doing them, and it was a guy who used to make stuff for the BBC, and he was like, mate, I'm laughing every day at your stories and stuff. He's like, this is exactly what the BBC are looking for, is content like this, what you guys do down at the studio and stuff. And I was like, thanks very much. I was like, who hook us up with somebody? Like, you know, like just, and he was like, aye, sure. So I got a wee email address, sent off a wee email. They were like, right, come in for a meeting. So me and Stephen went and gave them some ideas. They loved it, and they were just like, cool, let's start doing stuff. So we just done our first video there. It actually came out while we were in Ibiza, which was a mixed bag of emotions, you know what I mean? Because you're like out there chilling, having a good time. Stephen smashed his set in Eden, and then it's like the next day we're like, oh, by the way, your video's going live tonight, and we're like, what? Oh my God, right, cool. So our first thing, so BBC The Socials, where we're doing our stuff, if you know the online platform. And we were in for a meeting on Wednesday there for our next follow-up video. So we've got 2 videos coming that haven't been started yet, but the idea's there, and it's going to be completely, just no one's going to expect whatsoever what we're going to do. It's got nothing to do with DJing or music or business. It's completely something different, something that we're interested in. But the first one was DJ tips, as I was saying. So Stephen's talking about some great DJ tips for people looking to get involved, and I'm doing some sort of cutaways and kind of having a bit of fun. The two of us had a lot of fun doing it. So long may that continue, man. And it's funny, we got our first like small little paycheck in from the BBC from doing this first video, you know. And I'm looking at my name with the BBC addressed to me, and I'm just visualising some more zeros on there, man. And I'm just like, if this has happened once, it can happen again. And again, it's really not about that, because it's really not about that, but it's just more the mentality of like, wow, this has happened once, this can happen again. And just it's just a really weird, bizarre feeling, something I've always thought of, and it's like, it's happened
great,
this year. Do you know what I mean?
Congratulations.
Cheers, man. So it's like, it's the start, and the way I look at it, we've got a toe in the door, you know, not a foot, it's a toe, and I'm going to bust that door open eventually. I
think that's so important when you have it. Maybe that wasn't a direct goal that you had, but it was something that you envisaged. And then when you get a taste, like you say, you go, this is possible. Yeah. So where else could we replicate this?
Well, do you know what it is as well? You face a lot of opposition when you're trying to do something that's a wee bit out of the norm, and you know, like I meet people all the time, they're like, gal, I have no idea what it is you do, man. And I'm like, good, I like that. You know, I like that. I don't want you know. And it's not that I don't want them to know, but you know what I mean? It's like people will be like, I really don't understand. And when you just do push towards something, it's like, see now the actual feedback I've heard from like different groups of people who I might not necessarily see their support online, but then I'll bump into somebody's brother and they'll be like, oh, my brother was showing me your video on the BBC last night. He was sending it around the group chat. And I'm like, oh, is that right? I've not spoke to him in about 9 years, and he's never once spoke to me. He's never once liked a Facebook thing, but he's sitting there watching it, and he's probably annoyed you've told me that. But I'm like, that's cool, because again, as long as you're watching it, leaving a comment, good or bad, you need to have thick skin when you put yourself out there like that. And I think, again, people are really, really, unfortunately, are becoming really soft, and like people can just leave a wee comment that's really harsh, and it's like, oh no, that's me depressed. But it's like, look, man, there's about 100 great comments. Don't focus on the one negative, but the force of negativity is much stronger than positive, unfortunately. So it's why there's no good news channels. There's just all bad news channels. There's no, where's a good news channel? It just tells you good news, doesn't sell, know what I mean?
I think the thing is, like, people, if they're negative about something, or they don't understand what you do, maybe not negative, maybe that's the wrong word, but if they are like, why are you doing that? Or because they can't see themselves doing that, they can't see how that makes sense. It's not what it doesn't fit into their parameters,
which is fair enough. Which is fair enough.
But sometimes I think when it's family, it comes from a place of protection. They don't want you to buzz it up.
Well, this is it.
Irreparably. And some people are maybe just a little bit jealous because they're not doing something like that.
Well, that's the main thing.
As soon as they see it, even a little bit of success, they go, okay.
Well, that's it. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I felt off the back of the BBC thing. It's like, oh, they're serious. It's like, man, look at what we've done for the last 5 years, man. Like,
been putting it in.
We've been serious, you know. We but it's like, if that's what it's going to take, then by all means, great, you know. And again, this is just exciting. You know, I'm not trying to put too much pressure on it. It's like, look, man, we're going to have fun. And at the end of the day, we've got the validation from the national broadcaster. It's like, I don't care if you don't think I'm validated. These guys think it, and they're happy to push on with stuff. So we're just looking to have some fun now, and we want to create content that no one's creating. Yeah. And, you know, have total fun, man. Because if you're not going to have fun, what is the point in doing it?
It must be extremely exciting to go into their building and chat with them about.
When they're on Wednesday again, that's what I was saying to Stephen. I was like, man, I could get used to coming in here, you know. We're just going into our work, you know, and just having a laugh, but like treating it that way,
yeah,
you know, and suggesting things. And I mean, even the way we approached our video, because we do so much video content, they were like, "You're a dream to work with," kind of thing, because it's like you're making our lives a little bit easier because we've got a camera guy, we do some edits. So it's like straight away they were like, "Oh man, it was such an easy video to edit because of the ways you shot it and stuff." And we were like, "Brilliant! That's our experience now kicking in." But it is, man. It's just it's a weird one, mate. It's weird, you know. It's something we've always wanted. Now it's like kind of happening, and it's like, like what the hell? Know what I mean? What the hell? So it's like, as you can see, I'm like an excited wee boy, you know. So I just really want to start pumping out the content now with that.
Nice one. What? Sorry,
no,
you say something. I was going to say, what was the thing at the hydro that you were doing?
Another moment where it's like, you know, really what's just life in general, what it's like, you know, it's like, see, prior to the hydro thing, we found out maybe 3 months max before we were playing it, we were doing it. And the people we had involved, I kept saying, listen, man, savour this moment because I'm telling you, it's going to be over and done with, like, so quick. And this September, it was a year ago, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, it was like 3 months away, and then it's like, oh my god, it's nearly a year ago. So Gavin Oates and the Tree of Knowledge, absolutely awesome, legendary guy. If you haven't ever met Gavin,
we've met him before.
Yeah, Gavin's a great guy. We had him on our podcast, and he just, I don't know, man, he just loved the vibe. He loved our vibe. He loved what we were doing in schools. He loved what we were trying to do, and he liked the energy. And we got him on the podcast, had a great conversation about education, stuff like that. And then I think it was just a few months later, I think he'd said to Stephen about something. He was like, look, I want you guys to come and play the hydro. So he was running an event called Fire Up Scotland, and it was like basically being billed as Scotland's most motivational day since, like, for 50 years. 12,000 students it was meant to be. I think there was over 9 on the day. That was because of problems with traffic, stuff like that. But there were schools literally coming from all over Scotland. So 9,500 students. Me and Stephen had 20 minutes of doing a presentation, and we had 2 young girls, students of Skapade, DJ for 5 minutes at it as well, which we were the only business to bring any young people along to do something like that. And that was Stephen's idea as well. Like, you know, I think it would be good to get these girls involved. So we trained them up, got them doing some nice mixes, and they played for 5 minutes in front of all their peers. I mean, imagine being 15 years old and your first gigs at the hydro. You know, that way I was like that. We should have started them off in a pub in Clydebank or something, man. Like, so downhill for you. No, but like, you know, 5 minutes, the place erupted. They're called Fruit and Nut. So they've got a cool wee gimmick on the go. 2 young girls, and they smashed it, and then me and Stephen came back on and rounded up. But basically what we've done is we shared our journey of entrepreneurship and to inspire the next generation coming up, basically. And, you know, we're backstage and we're like looking at each other because, again, it's like, you know, when me and Stephen built Skapade in the first 2 years off the back of like 16, 17 hour shifts nearly every single day. We were in the studio from 9 in the morning till 2 in the morning, like nearly without fail every day on the whiteboard. And then we'd be up making tunes and, you know, be like, thank you Hampden, thank you Hydro, you know, like visualising that. And now we've done 2 talks at Hampden, we've done a talk at the Hydro, and it's like, man, I think everything we're speaking into existence is happening eventually. So again, that's why I'm like, there's a quiet confidence, and I do believe we're going to get where we think we want to get. That always changes. But I'm more focused on just having a fun time while we're doing it and working towards it, because it'll be done like that and you'll be like, fuck man, wow, you know, you want to just be so focused on the goal, or do you want to have the focus but have that wee bit of fun and leeway of enjoying every day in the process and realising what you've got? I think that's a major thing that we just all don't do enough. Is disconnecting and going into nature and kind of going, you know what, man, I'm doing all right. I've got a house over my, I've got a roof over my head. I've got family that love me. I've got good friends. And yes, things can be shit. Yes, sometimes money's not great. Then other times money is good. And, you know, it's like all of us go through these things. Yeah. But it's about not beating yourself up too much and realising that, man, do you know what, that's part of the fun, man. Do you know what I mean? It's just that's the mentality I tried to keep. So the hydro thing was one of these moments where we're like, funnily enough, between me and Stephen, we must have drank about 4 litres of water that day and never went to the toilet once. And it's like, it must have been the adrenaline. And as soon as we come off stage, we're like, oh my God, right? Oh, I'm about to burst. You know, but it's like we're getting the Britney mics and all that. I got my red leotard on, right? And that was a joke. I definitely did that. I wouldn't do that to anybody. But, you know, it's like pure Britney style with the thing. And then we're like up on stage. We come out to one of Stephen's tunes that he made with Lindsay Green that's been getting support from Carol Cox, Dennis Salter, you know, Radio 1, stuff like that. And we came out to that tune. It's like, nowhere we coming out to one of our own tunes. Yeah. The two of us together as two good pals. We went for being unemployed in our, you know, early 20s, playing football, tennis in my back garden. There's people working, looking at us like, what are these unemployed pricks up to? You know, and then me and Stephen actually went on like a course for like unemployment, and it was like a music course, and we made 3 songs, which are on YouTube, which are hilarious. I'm rapping on them, American style. Stephen produced it all, and it's like, fast forward like 8-9 years, we're actually delivering courses like that for young people, to unemployed people and students and stuff. It's just like, life's mental, man. It's mental. Like, honestly, Carrie, sometimes I'm just like,
it's actually been a bit hard to keep up with that story. It's just so much, mate. And I'm very full on. I'm a million miles an hour, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, I love being that way as well. It's like, you just not get time for, you know, it's just, you just got to go for it. So obviously I went into a couple of different things, but the hydro thing is just one of those moments, mate, that you're like, I don't know, it's like, I can't believe it happened out on that stage to all the people. And one of the things I said to Stephen before going out, so let's see if I can make them laugh. You know, that's a dream come true. And I went out, cracked a couple of jokes, crowd was laughing, I'm like, no way, I've made the hydro laugh, you know what I mean? So that's awesome.
Totally awesome.
It's a hell of a story. It's a hell of an opportunity to be able to go and do that, because that's a huge auditorium. It must be
most prestige one in Scotland, really, isn't it? Like,
super exciting.
And now we drive by it and we're like,
yeah, we've been there. We
played in there. Yeah. And again, back to the whole getting a check from the Beebs. It's like, we've done the hydro, we can do it again. That's the way I look at it. We have done it already. Yeah. It can happen again then. It's not out of the realms of possibility because we've done it. So what's the master plan? What are you, I know obviously it's not the most important thing, but what's the aim? Like, where is it you're taking Skapade? Is it still want to be education, or is it more content? Like, where you want to take it? It's the mix. It's continually doing what we're doing. I think, you know, we certainly want to be in, you know, more districts across Scotland. We want to be working with multiple schools, running projects and delivering sort of the amazing work for young people that's going to hopefully change their lives, or not all of them, but it's going to instigate something. Musically, we want to get much bigger. We want to get the music out there more, playing bigger gigs and world tours and things like that. And obviously with the whole BBC side, that is just about creating content, which is going to leverage us more, isn't it? It's going to bring more eyes to us through the power of their brand. So it's more affect more lives across Scotland, have fun, and just give people an opportunity to explore something that they usually wouldn't do. Do you know what I mean? So that's the sort of loose plan, but it's definitely working, you know, throughout Scotland and then just dominate the world. But you know, other than that, that's a bit of a big plan. But no, Scotland will do, and you know, get some more stuff a little bit more involved in the curriculum. You know, which we're quietly working on some stuff there. So, man, just have more fun, affect more lives is the kind of cheesy way to put it, but superb. That's what we're looking to do. Superb. On that, I think this is kind of approaching the end, but I think the question that I want to leave you with is how do people get in touch with you? If somebody's listening to this and they think, actually, I'd like to get that brought into our school, I'd like to speak with you or have a chat, how is it they do that? It would just be to go onto Skapade's Facebook page or to email info@Skapade Studios, or if you want to book one of us for a talk or something, I'm just Stephen Galloni on all my stuff. Instagram's where I'm mostly active, and then Stephen Kirkwood as well if you want to go and find his music, or Kunky, one of the aliases, you can go on Spotify, all that, and these are all the stuff that have been getting quite good momentum recently. So just Skapade Studios, drop us a wee DM or as I say, just hit me directly. But to be honest, so much of our business we just deal with directly through social media, or emails. You know, it's like it's a wonderful thing as well that then people can privately come to me and say, "Oh man, I'm having this problem with my computer or something," and it's like kind of round the clock where we can still help people. You know,
awesome.
so I just online would be the best bet.
Okay.
Pick up the phone, don't be scared, man. I'm not going to bite. That's only a Wednesday where I do that.
It's beautiful, man.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.
No, thank you so much.
No, I really enjoyed that.
We need to make it happen again, and just
100%, yeah.
get a good chat again. But we could probably keep going. You know, it is good.
Oh no, absolutely. I'm just conscious that if we go into another subject, that'll be it.
Totally, especially with me, pure motor mouth. Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.